I've already went over Bayonetta's daddy on the channel before, but never really got around to talking about her mom, known as Rosa. Both are powerful, so you know Bayonetta's gonna be powerful. Since we know Bayonetta is like a multiverse now, we hardly ever get to see Rosa because she broke the clan's rules by macking with a Lumen Sage when the clans are not supposed to be romantic with each other, so she was in prison. For those wondering how she was locked up in some chains that she keeps around her at all times now, is because the chains themselves were suppressing her magic power for breaking the laws of the Umbra and stuff. They locked her up. But now she just wears the chains out of pettiness as a reminder or something. If you watch my Bayonetta video, she's an Umbra witch, so she's kind of similar to Bayonetta a lot when it comes to her different magical abilities, super strength, wielding gun. Magic itself seems to do a lot in this universe when it comes to the dark arts and stuff, giving them super physicals on top of them being able to summon and do magical type stuff or shields and stuff. I mean, look how they work together to mess up this big old angel that's got to be the size of a small building. She's holding her ground, doing the exact same thing Bayonetta's doing, and even helping Bayonetta herself lift it up to show her strength is competent. And look how far they threw it. Decent leg power to be able to work together with Bayonetta herself and an awesome team up. There's two versions of her I'm going to go over in this video because even with all their feats put together, they still lack showing. So I figure we can just put them in the same vid, despite these being two completely different continuities of them. But they still have a lot of similarities, right? Regardless of which continuity I'm talking about with her, she seems to always be able to use her abilities to summon an actual battle suit, one could say. Yeah, I wasn't playing when I said literal battle suit. If someone tried to make the argument that this alternate reality version of Rosa is a little bit better than the main Rosa that we know from the main continuities, Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, blah, 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 I couldn't really argue with them, considering in this universe they say Rosa's magic power is stronger than that of her own daughters, aka Bayonetta of this particular universe. This version of a French kinda-ish Bayonetta, Rosa is apparently above. This is saying something because Brave Cereza, the main character of this game, you know, the two-braided Cereza, considered the strongest of all the Bayonettas, this version of Bayonetta was able to give her some issues, the French version, and this version of Rosa is supposed to be above this version of Bayonetta that's Frenchish. You know what I'm saying? Everything about them has to be relative to some degree, at least in the base state. This version of Rosa has some weapons called Tartarus that's actually built from the clock tower she can fuse with or summon. It's like Gatling guns she can shoot with, and they're really thick and solid and they have destructive force when you hit them with them. Like one could say it's like big old gauntlets, you know what I mean? And they're strong enough to block attacks from this very powered up version of Bayonetta like this and withstand the hit. So she's formidable for sure. Yeah, he could do a lot of stuff. Not to mention, this version of Rosa can become one with her summons, just like a lot of other Bayonettas at this point. This version of Rosa can summon a literal clock tower, fuse with the clock tower, a demon masquerade ability to be able to fuse with your weapons or souls of your demons to literally become a literal puppet from the clock tower type stuff. They straight up implied that her destructive capacity in this universe, in particular, talking about how she can effortlessly level an entire city. This version of Rosa might not be able to summon that same demon, Madama Capri, but she does summon a clock tower, or she can just summon a random battle suit when she feels like it. Just like any military clan or hierarchy, not every single member of a clan or military unit are equal, but when it comes to this universe, I would say Rosa, aka Bayonetta's mama, is at the top of the food chain when it comes to who do you think is the top tier of the Umbra witches. Just like other Bayonetta or witches like John and Bayonetta, that she can summon beings like different Madamas. Like Madamas is a theme in this universe that witches can summon. John has Madama sticks, and no matter which universe, Cereza herself summons this being like Madama Butterfly. And Rosa, this version of Madama, we don't even get to see her full model. That's how Madama Capri's shadow looks when you use her as a playable character. You can see differences on how her foot looks a little bit different from Madama Butterfly. Maybe the next Bayonetta, they actually give her a full-blown character model and Rosa, and then we'll get in the picture again or something. But I think it's fair to say, for whatever the other Madamas can do, she's not that far off. I mean, we did see both of their Madamas working together to show that both of their Madamas are similar in power. Why else would they even be a helpful aid if they wasn't somewhere comparable? Even though they're two different entities, Madama Butterfly and Madama Capri, you know they both have to be similar in power. I mean, they're the best tag team ever. Bayonetta and Rosa being the best tag team ever, mother and daughter type of thing. So you know she's up there with Bayonetta regardless of it. So just like Bayonetta, in the middle of a random combo, you have to worry about a giant circle opening up mid-combo, and a giant fist will come and hit you, just like other Bayonettas, and they're strong as heck. I mean, just imagine being in a fight and Rosa does that, and a whole bunch of bull crap out of portals come and hit you, giant demon junk like this, working together with Bayonetta. Not only Madama Capri that she can summon, it seems that she can summon beings like Gamora, other infernal demons that are kind of like Godzilla, to tear beings apart. Yeah. I think we all can agree that all the three Madamas are on the same level, pretty much no matter which continuity. We don't know for sure if this version of Rosa can summon her, but at the same time, I wouldn't doubt it. One can argue her ability to manipulate time might be better because other witches can do witch time too, but hers seems to be something she specializes in. Like, for example, Rosa's demon can control time and the sun. Rosa has a contract with a being like this, just like the other witches, binding their soul to them and stuff like that. But so it's a price, but for great power. See the big old fist opening up? So you got to worry about, you got to deal with her punching you out of the middle of the combo. Big creatures like this that are decently powerful. Rosa can do this with her summon. It's like that out of the blue. And do like that. Madama Caprice should be able to do something like this. I don't see why not. If Madama Butterfly can do it, they're all a part of the Madama family. You know what I'm saying? Headbutting meteors like it ain't nothing. Show the raw power they can produce. A good example is that you can see that her style, she still uses guns. Like, for example, like this in combos, messing up these different angels to show her skills and fighting ability. Yes, she's still super strong, showing her accuracy, marksmanship, blah, blah, blah. That's expected. Using the chains in the middle of combat to get advantage over foes. Spamming witch time, basically making her speed so everything's frozen, but she can still move at normal speeds to add more force behind her attack. Since she can use witch time, she basically by default has faster than light fighting speed because her husband, Baldur's Illumined Sage, who is confirmed to be able to move with the swiftness of light. They even say witch time and light speed, the Lumen Sage ability, are like counterparts of each other. So witch time and light speed have to be somewhere in the same ballpark. They wouldn't be able to compete with each other in raw speed when it comes to them fighting each other. Because when it comes to witch time and raw fighting speed, they can definitely compete with Lumen Sages, beings that can move like the swiftness of light when it comes to their combat speed and stuff. So you know Rosa has to be ridiculously fast. I mean, light speed in this universe is kind of considered a joke at this point because they have crazy reflexes on top of them manipulating time. So it's like 2 layers of speed on top of each other, right? Magical stuff along with Bayonetta to work together to do a torture attack. So summoning demons or actual torture devices or weapons themselves. She's one of those characters where it's hard to get a concrete of where she is, but we know she's somewhat comparative to Bayonetta. Either Bayonetta from 1 or 2, maybe not necessarily Bayonetta 3 Bayonetta, because Bayonetta can do that crap to where she can pretty much make her summons go Super Saiyan, like Madama Butterfly going into her mountainous-sized Queen Butterfly state. I would say she can give Bayonetta some issues if they was to fight, long as Bayonetta doesn't pull this out. This is like the ultimate mode, you know, but we know she can summon Gamora, other entities like this that's strong enough to pulverize mountains. So we know for a fact she can mountain bust or cause earthquakes if needed. But if we're being honest, this stuff is still an oversimplification because we all know Bayonettas in general fight God of God tier level beings, like how Bayonetta did. Like how in Bayonetta 1, we had to fight Jubileus as a boss battle, the god of all these angels in a whole dimension, Paradiso. She's a higher end Umber Witch, so she should at least be able to compete, but I definitely think, of course, Jubileus has the advantage because, yeah, they're like the few beings that Bayonetta and them haven't surpassed quite yet. But then again, who knows? Because you guys remember main guy in the new game, Singularity, who was a threat to the multiverse. I actually explained this more depth in my Bayonetta video of how he's a threat to the multiverse. Consider the universe itself becoming one with the chaotic energy of the multiverse, a being that used the energy or destruction from other universes to increase his attack power. Bayonetta and them have to fight. Rosa has to be somewhere in the ballpark to be able to kind of at least compete, even though Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3, even she needed help by a lot of different beings to beat this being Singularity. But respect Rosa, the mama for Bayonetta, no matter which continuity. She's a beast. Do you respect Bayonetta? You gotta respect her. They're almost twins. Her gameplay is so similar to Bayonetta, it's almost crazy. She can even transform to a beast within, use pistols, wicked weave, blah, blah, blah. Respect her. She should technically be a planet buster because we've actually seen planet busting type feats. How do you explain feats of Baldur blasting the moon apart like this so you know they have the power to do so? Respect Bayonetta's mama. But before I get going, I have to say, thanks for the donations, everyone. Respect Bayonetta's mama. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.